Hello and welcome to this week's DampSam Reacts with me, DampSam, supporting this ridiculously big tash for Movember, or thereabouts. So, got another plastering video for you. I saw this and I just thought it'd be interesting to watch. It's applying, I'll just tell you proper title. Apply or spread a lime plaster finish without the base coat, and it's Kirk Gardano. Is an American, so we've gone international with DampSam's Reacts today. It's from 2 years ago, and it's had 30,000 views. So shall we get into it and just see what Kurt's got to say, and we'll see if he's a better plasterer than me. All right, come on, Kurt. Come on down.
Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today, I want to talk about lime. This diamond lime plaster, because a lot of people have called and asked and say, Kirk, what does that mean when, like, for example, this is USG diamond plaster. It says right here, veneer finish. That topic right here, veneer finish, throws a lot of people off because they say, what is veneer? What kind of mineral is that? Well, it's not a mineral, it's an application, meaning a thin coat. So when it says veneer finish, what it should really say is lime finish, because you take the limestone, you put it in a huge kiln or furnace, you heat it up, and you get lime, slack lime or slaked putty, either one. Then when you add water, like what we did here, you come up with this stuff right here. And this, the thing I'm going to answer today is, can you just go one coat? Technically, when we put this product on here, and by the way, in the UK they call it skim plaster. That's a better terminology because all I'm going to do is skim this. Yeah. This is an old house, about 100-year-old, and what they had here was old wood lath. So the wood lath, he just put sheetrock over that. He didn't have to. We could have skim coated right over the wood lath after we prepped it. What is that pink stuff there? That pink stuff is plaster weld. That's made by Larson's. Do you actually need the pink stuff? No. You can get Quickcrete sold at Home Depot. This right here, you got to go all the way to the plastering yards to get it. So if you want to use that, you got to Google plastering yards near me. Anyway, this particular plaster, it's limestone, so it's lime putty. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a coat on that. You can't really see it if you're facing it, but it's about a ½ inch thick. So I'm going to show you guys and explain something what people ask me often. They say, hey, Kirk, how come we need to put a base coat under it? And I say, you don't really have to unless you know the rules. Okay. The rules are, if you're going to apply it over sheetrock or any other substrate, clean that substrate, meaning get all the dust, dirt, grime off it, because this will not adhere. So now here's what I'm going to do, guys. A lot of times people will say, how can you use such a big trowel? Easy. Well, the big trowel gets it true and plumb with almost one swipe.
Proper man's trowel, Kirk, innit? Proper man's trowel.
There it is.
Hiya, DampSam here. Did you know, if you want to watch a full unedited version of this, if you become a Damp fan, $2.99, which is as much as an expensive cup of coffee up here, you can watch a full unedited version of this. Now, let's get back watching this bit, eh? See you in a bit.
If you're working with a little bitty trowel, then you'll be doing this all day, and you'll have to rod this section because
little bitty trowel.
It's hard to figure out how to
but then we know
make it true and plumb. See, that's where it's true and plumb. From this piece of sheetrock to that piece of sheetrock. And
he's not getting much on trowel,
I guess I'll point out right now is, people say, well, how come you can't just put one coat of veneer? You can. I'm doing it right now. And the reason I'm doing it is to prove a point, guys. If you put, say, for example, a base coat of Structolite, now, when that Structolite sets, and keep in mind, Structolite takes about 3 to 5 hours to set. But when you go over structolite that's already set,
3 to 5 hours.
that structolite will give you a hard, dense surface, meaning this will absorb right into it. Right now, as it goes, this diamond usually takes about, diamond or imperial,
See how they started at
they
top.
take about,
work their way
say,
down.
once that bag is mixed, it takes about a half hour for this stuff to set. Unless you're going over structolite that's already hard, then it'll suck the moisture right out. So you've got about 10 minutes. So I know how much time I have. And so to prove a point, as far as these holes right here, the idea, if you read the bags, it'll say this material is allowed to go
It's an A ceiling.
3/16 of an inch thick. Can you go an inch or two? Yeah. I've done it thousands of times. Say,
So
like,
we've all
I'll
been
be
an
doing a
inch or two,
house,
Kirk, haven't we?
and I'll be finishing it, and I'll see a bunch of holes. Maybe, I'd say anywhere
know what you're
between
on about, mate.
an inch to 2 inches deep. And what I'll do
There you
is
go.
I'll just fill it with
Yeah.
this. Now, granted, when this sets, it sets. Like, say, for example, in the bucket right there, it's going to be a half hour. So as soon as I took my first
What's
hawkful
fucking
out of
knock
here,
about
I
then?
got a half hour to use it.
gonna be
Meaning,
going
apply
off.
it, and then it's going to get hard. And when it gets hard, I'm going to bring it back to life and get some of the holidays out of it and make sure it's kind of true and plumb here and there. And can you match a skip trowel finish like that? Absolutely. Sure you can.
Blazing heavy, isn't it?
But the reason I'm doing this right
To
here
get to
is
gym,
because
Kirk.
when you try to do one coat, you just have to know when to play with it, when to leave it alone and when to play with it. And most people, if they do one coat, what it'll do is they'll over trowel it. Once it starts to set, then they'll start troweling it.
Like
And
you're
that'll-
doing now.
One coat,
Get
it'll
it fucking
separate
on.
from this, or to create blistering, spider checking, cracking, things like that. So once I get into this, because we got a lot of stuff we're doing here, once I get this on, we're going to go do some other stuff. And then when this sets in about another, say, less than 20 minutes, I'm going to come right back to it. Okay, guys, we are multitasking today. We've got a whole bunch of rooms we're doing, so I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to show what I'm referring to, because the question is, people call me and they say, can I do one coat over sheetrock? And my response is, I don't know if you can, but I can. And here's why, guys. Okay, now this is just, it's limestone, lime plaster. It's over the sheetrock. And the idea is the sheetrock, the plaster weld, the emulsifiers have got to set. Then the plaster sets. And now that substrate becomes one, it becomes soft.
Every fucking word he said then were like in foreign. All them terms we just don't use in England. Don't use it. We use emulsifier, but it's normally in science when you're doing science and paintings. But others chuffing hell. Hiya, it's DampSam here. I've just come on just to tell you that DampSamcom is now up and running. We've got the Express damp proofing system course, designed by me, run by me, done by me. You can buy that. We've got the ultimate guide to black mold and condensation. You can pay what you want for it. And we've also got 3 free ebooks. And also we've got a guide to basement conversions, the ultimate guide to damp proofing, and also the podcasting series. You can get in contact with them, and the YouTube membership. Enjoy it, rest of your film.
If you do that, and right now I can look at this, plus we have a big pile outside like this of excess, and I stuck my finger in it, and it's starting to get hard.
Mixed too much, ain't he? Schoolboy error, even though he's a pensioner.
So the idea is this is starting to get hard because the bucket is. Ooh, there's a holiday right there. We put struck the light in a few areas, and we don't want to drag that. Anyway, now that this is
Because it's
set,
fucking limestone.
there's a number of
mate.
ways you can do this, guys, because you don't want to disturb it. You want to keep a wet trowel. And if this gets set all the way where it's gone, here's something you can buy. It's called a spray bottle, and you just pump it up, and spray it, and it brings it back to life. I prefer to just use a wet trowel,
Me and you too.
like so, unless
I'm
we're
same,
doing
Kirk.
whole complete rooms. And here's how you do this now. We don't want spider checking. We don't want separation.
Spider
We don't
checking.
want hairline cracking or
Airline checker, we
blistering.
know that one.
It'll have a bunch of bubbles here if I keep playing with it. So okay, here's what you do. Now that it's starting to set, you take your trowel, wet it, or wet the wall. Either way works.
Oh, it's
Let it
sponge.
and come up. You see, that's already getting hard. And it might take some pressure. You might have to put some force on it. Like, say, that's the equivalent of lifting maybe a 10-pound dumbbell.
Jim.
And you just push hard now. But don't over trowel it. Let's see. There it is. That's done, guys.
Yeah, but edges
Now
are a
let's
bit
see
rough.
the bottom here.
About feathering it in.
That's done. I'm going to wet this a little bit to bring it back to life.
It's rough as out on edges. Okay.
That's done. But that's really smooth, and this is not so smooth. So
Yeah.
what I want to do is, I don't want it too pretty, because we don't want to have one pretty perfect spot and the rest not so. So I'm going to put a little
You do.
skip right here.
When you paint it, it's going to be awful.
And that's just to make it so it's not completely uniform, or it won't match this. The same
What?
applies up here. Come on now, ladder. All right.
No,
So the same applies here. Push hard. And it all depends. You see that excess here, watch. That's a little bit of excess there. And it's setting right now. So I'm being careful not to over trowel it. There's about
Not to blend it
6
in
to
either.
7 swipes. That matches. That matches this. Now I'm going to just put some imperfection. I'm going to take the mud that's on the trowel right now, come down. That's what happens when you put Structilite and it's got a little bit of sand here and there. Okay, now that's not going to separate. It's not going to blister. Now, okay, we go up here. Another thing, guys, now granted, we got 4 rooms we're doing right now. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, what are those other rooms doing? So we're multitasking, doing a lot of stuff. If you're going to use this, guys, now this is a skip trowel finish. And he put fiberglass tape around here. If you put fiber mesh tape around a perimeter, I mean, that's okay for sheetrock,
You need to
but
cover
for
it.
plaster, the plaster weld is better. It bonds the new to the existing, whereas if you put the fiber mesh tape, now I gotta cover that.
You should have
So
done that
that'll
first
take a little
place.
bit extra know-how, which is not a big deal.
It's rough as fuck.
And what I want to do here is
Might as well
bring
just
the texture
text
out.
it.
Okay, that's done.
Let's
As far
get
as
angle trowel in and all.
application, as far as troweling, so we don't get the blistering effect or the separation. Now that's done. Now I've just got to put a skip trowel texture to
No,
match
you
this
need to
here.
cover
And that part is
Scrape?
not so.
Kirk.
Okay, I'm gonna grab some excess plaster and show you that last piece.
I thought you
All
said
right,
you
guys,
put
I'll
enough
show you
on
another
to start
indication
with.
how you know it's ready to trowel on. And right now I'm just taking this little throwaway brush and getting my
Just
corner.
fucking angle trowel.
Dropping it down. Here's how you know when it's dry. It darkens, so you can see that's kind of dark. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting on a skip trowel finish.
You said you
And
put enough on to
If the
start
camera
with, and now you put a
shows
bit
it,
more on.
you can see the difference in color. But with us, I mean, I've got to match the finish. So this
Get
is the
some on
skip trowel.
sealing.
Like,
I
let's
tank
see
you
if you
quite
can
on
see
that,
down here.
Kirk.
See that difference of color? That's when you know it's starting to set, and that's when you start to hit it.
Hit it.
Match this finish here. And where the tape is, I got to put it a little heavy.
You should have
because
put some on to
we
start with.
wanna
You said
cover
you
that
weren't quite
ridge.
in it.
So when you guys are using plaster, you really don't need tape unless it's going over sheetrock joints. Then you put the fiber mesh tape. But as a rule, you don't do that. So all I'm doing now is finishing the skip trowel finish. Then we've got to
Skip trowel.
get back to all the other details we got going on here. Anyway, guys, my name is Kirk. Jason on the camera. We thank you guys for watching, and as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one.
So, the Giordano family. So, they must be renovating that house. American plastering. So I don't know whether that's it happens like that all the time, but I hope you've enjoyed it. That's what Americans do to plaster.
Most important thing in my life.
That's what Americans do to plaster when he's plastering lime mixed up from stone, he says. But yeah, he got a trowel. Look, I mean, we use them for concreting in our country, so I don't know whether he's just adapted that. Thought, oh, that's a concreting trowel, I'll use that for skimming. But fair, looked like he was struggling. Yeah, and I don't think Kirk is sort of an example of an American plasterer. I think he's just we're playing around with and just wanted to put his son up video. So we'll just take Kirk with a pinch of salt, because he said he was going to do it in one coat, and he didn't, did he? So yeah, that's Kirk Barano, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of international, DampSam goes international, and if you see me up next, then I might not have this. Put in the comments, do you like it or not? Do I look suave, sophisticated, odd, an oddball, dangerous? Telling your kids to get away from me on the street. Don't go near him. Don't go near him. So yeah, DampSam signing off. See you up next time. Bye bye now.